Ryan. Welcome to Aloha Friday Drip. This is Tyler Deveraux. I'm here with Jackson Campbell. We're back. And this podcast is presented by the Multifamily Mindset, and we're excited, man. So, Jackson, tell them how it goes, man. So those first listeners, people here for the first time, those ones who are never listened, those ones who are just here for the first time, the virgins.
We ready?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yep. So how the Growth Cast works is Monday through Thursday, we have daily mindset drips, is what we call them, from Dallas Pruitt. He's the man. He's always studying mindset. He's just full of wealth of knowledge when it comes to mindset principles.
But not just full of wealth. He has this unique ability to just simplify things.
It, dude.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
And give actionables. He gives actionables too on what you should do to implement whatever principle he is talking about that day. So Monday through Thursday, we get to hear from him. Definitely tune in for those episodes. I love starting my day with those episodes. Friday, I get the opportunity to sit down and interview Tyler Deveraux.
Yes.
Usually we talk about a real estate principle, but we're always gonna weave in mindset as well.
By the way, Tyler Deveraux is also the man.
He is also
he's a myth, and he's a legend, and he's right here in your earlobes, drums, holes.
Didn't mean to leave you out there, Ty. Everybody knows you're the man. I know you are. I know. No, yeah. So Friday, I get to sit down, pick Ty's brain.
Yeah,
which is very beneficial. There's been past episodes. If you're a new listener, go back and listen to the Aloha Friday episodes. Tyler literally talks about his secret sauce and how he's been able to grow two very successful companies and acquire a whole ton of real estate. Yeah. So definitely go back, listen to our Aloha Friday episodes, as they're full of how you can succeed in multifamily. And then on Saturday, I get the opportunity to sit down and interview Dallas, which is an awesome opportunity too. He prepares all this content through the week, but now I get to sit down and pick his brain about one of those topics.
I love those ones, man.
Where I get to just get a little bit deeper in on one topic with him. They're very, very good episodes. So those drop on Saturday. So definitely listen. We got episodes every day. Yes. I don't think there is a high-level podcast such as the Growth Cast that drops episodes every day.
No, yeah.
No, I think we've set ourselves apart there, and we want y'all to benefit from that. So definitely tune in and definitely listen to those, because they're powerful episodes.
That's it. Okay. So, dude, what's a win? Tell me. I already know what you're. I feel like I know. Let's see. But what's a win that you got?
Yeah. So this last week, I had a new little niece born into the world.
There we go. What's her name?
Zoya.
So it's a cool name.
Yeah.
I don't know if I asked you that.
It's Omo Zoya. The prefix is a traditional Nigerian prefix to a name. My brother's wife's name's Thomason. She's from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So very, very cool, very beautiful name, and extremely beautiful baby.
Oh, so
baby's
cute,
healthy, baby's happy, mom's healthy, mom's happy. My brother is also doing well. So it was very, very gratifying to be able to go home and see them and just hold the baby for a minute and then jet out the next morning to catch my flight.
That's awesome.
Very grateful that it worked out and that I was already over on mainland to be able to do that. So no, the huge win for me and my family was that.
Love it.
What about you, dude?
A bunch. I'm going to rattle off a bunch.
Yeah, you've been busy.
Yeah,
You've been gone, dude. We really haven't sat down and recorded in probably 3 weeks.
Yeah, So let's talk about this.
Yeah, you've been gone, dude.
Just talking about my life. So here's what I just did. I went to San Diego. So just follow along here, okay?
There's a lot.
Maui to San Diego, went to Legoland. Then San Diego to L.A., went to an Angels game. Then we went to Disneyland. Then went to California Adventureland. Then the family flies home. I fly to Dallas. Dallas would do a 2-day mastermind walking properties. That's a win.
That's going to be our company win.
Oh, actually, you know what? Before I went there, I went to Denver.
That's right.
I went to Denver. Yeah, I guess there's a lot. Okay, so I flew from L.A. to Denver.
Yep.
I taught a 3-day training in Denver to an amazing group that was, it was a great weekend, man. A great weekend of just amazing people, and I loved that.
Real quick, before you move on, how did that compare to the first time we were in Dallas 2 years ago?
Denver, you mean?
What'd I say, Dallas?
Yeah.
Denver, sorry.
So, yeah, 2 years ago, we did our first event ever in Denver, and it was about 4 times the size this time.
Awesome.
And it was awesome to see the growth. Yeah, it was amazing to see the growth.
And the team, just everything all come together in 2 years. The processes, everything there. The experience for the attendees has been just uplifted a ton. It's been awesome.
It's
the
been
2
awesome.
years growth. It was just
very grateful.
Wanted to note that's been, it was kind of cool.
And a win, man. We had the whole Maui office there, man. Strat, Nico, Jackson, it was just super fun. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Then from there, I flew to Dallas, did a 2-day training with some of our mentorship students. We, did a dinner and we did a Q&A, and then we walked properties the next day.
Yeah.
We walked our 124 unit.
Yep.
124 unit
Yep.
property. No, 224 unit property.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I knew it was 24.
There we go. In Dallas, in Fort Worth, and then we walked a 616 unit property in Arlington. I just, once again, teaching throughout, got some content videos, things like that. Then from there, I flew to Cabo,
Mexico,
where I was able to officiate, had the privilege of officiating Cindy Camp and Reggie McGuire's wedding. So Mr. and Mrs. McGuire, congratulations. A lot of you know who Cindy is. She helps out helps out at our events. She's a freaking amazing person. Very grateful for that opportunity. And then flew straight from there to Houston. To marry Eric and Savannah, the Chattertons, Mr. So 2 weddings, back to back, and what an honor, what an honor. Both weddings were just different weddings. One's a destination wedding, a smaller wedding that was so damn fun. I loved it so much. Another one is a bigger wedding, and it's Eric and Savannah, and once again, both of those, Cindy, Eric, Savannah, Reggie, those are people that I'm very close with, and so it was very, very fun to officiate those weddings for people that I know, and love and care about, and it was an awesome experience. That just, here's what I know. I'll tell you this, okay? I've already told you this, but one of the first things that I did, I told their story with Eric and Savannah. I told their story and tied in some learning lessons is what I did, and one of them was when the why is strong enough. When the why is strong enough, the how-tos come. And I talked about the first time that I ever met Eric, which was he came to one of our events, and the first thing he told me is that he wanted to marry Savannah, which was his girlfriend at the time. But he needed to be in a financial situation to do that. And now to see that come full circle, and I tell this story, right? And I say, but man, he didn't know how to do that. But once again, when the why is big enough, the how-tos come. And then I said, I think they have like $87 million worth of real estate now. So I said, so $87 million of real estate later, and everyone in the congregation, what do you call that?
Yeah, congregation maybe.
Congregation.
Yeah, sounds better.
Laughs. They laugh at that point because that number sounds like a fake number, right?
Sounds crazy.
And I kind of like, I'm standing in between them, and I kind of peek my head through them. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, y'all got to get your emotions in check. That's when you cheer, not when you laugh. That number is a real number. So let's try that again. 87 million, and everybody cheers, And it was so fun for me to see the look on Eric's face and help him understand what he's accomplished, and to have everyone there be like, oh shit, they've accomplished a lot, And just to see that transition was very, very fun. But then to go in for the reception and see Eric, Savannah, Megan, Brett, multiple other students there. And just to see everyone thriving, right? To see our, people that within our network, you had Cindy, or Noel was there, Mark Pitts was there, Jed Johnson was there, Nick Nielsen was there, James McKay was there. To just see everyone thriving off of an idea we had, right?
Yeah.
So I just want you to understand, everyone out there, your ideas that you have, when you execute on those ideas, they will turn into massive wins, and man, I'll put you in a position to impact the lives of others. And I can't even begin to tell you the impact that that'll have on you, because then what happens, the next day is my birthday after Eric and Savannah's wedding, and I fly home. And a lot of people would say, man, it's not an ideal way to spend your birthday flying home. I disagree, man, because I was able to just read all these messages that were coming in, and yeah, this is a great day.
I'm hoping, and I'm glad you felt the love, dude.
Very much.
It's so crazy. You talk about you shared that experience with Eric and Savannah, and when the why becomes big enough, the how to becomes possible for their situation. But then if we even zoom out a little bit more, our why to starting the multifamily mindset was exactly for reasons like this.
Exactly. It's just way bigger
than anything.
Than real estate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So much bigger than just real estate. Yeah, real estate's a great vehicle, but it's way bigger than real estate.
Exactly.
You know?
So it's funny you use that example for Eric and Savannah, but we can use that same example for what's happened here and what happened this past weekend, dude. When that why becomes big enough, you can literally change the world.
Yeah.
Eric changed his and Savannah's life.
Yeah.
Because his why was big enough.
Yep.
You know, and because the why and the purpose and the reasoning behind why we started the multifamily mindset was so strong and so powerful, the how-to becomes so inevitable and so much easier.
Well, what's Cindy doing? Cindy's doing the same thing. I mean, you have at Cindy's wedding, you have Yannick and Marichelle. Shout out to Yannick and Marichelle. They're just amazing people who I love. Yeah. And I had an opportunity to travel back with them and have these conversations and talk about their journey and just, man. Yep.
It's a special thing.
It is.
It's a special thing. So the takeaway out of this, what Ty's experiencing here and what Ty has experienced and sharing is make sure your why is big enough.
Yeah.
Because if your why is big enough and you have that why set, the how-to comes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's so cool to see those things come to fruition as they happen. Well, pretty special.
Let me tie in this last bit, okay? Because then I come home and then y'all come over for dinner.
Yeah.
And you talk about how your life has changed and how you're now changing other people's lives. Nico and Strat talk about how their life has changed and how they're now examples to their family and how other people's lives are changing. So what I'm telling you is that these things that you're procrastinating, these things that you're nervous about, these things that you're worried about, it's because your why isn't big enough. You need to get out of your own way and understand that by really just freaking running into the damn storm, you are going to impact so many people. But if you don't run into the storm, there's a lot of people who will not be impacted. And that's selfish. Run into the storm. So
I just want to pause for everybody to internalize that. Run into the storm.
Yes.
Like it's a principle and something that's quite literally changed the way I live my life.
Oh, yeah.
I make all of my decisions. Just do the hard thing.
Listen, I know we're going to talk about some challenges. You told me we're going to talk about some challenges in multifamily, right?
Yes. We want to talk about some unique challenges that you've seen in multifamily. Yep.
Can I tell you about an article I read today?
Yeah.
Because I want you to just think about this. What would you do if you were in this position? 2 college kids who are out camping, and they get separated from each other. And then all of a sudden, one of them, comes circling back and sees that a bear is mauling his friend.
Oh.
Okay, so what would you do? Would you run?
Nah. I mean, if you're asking me, no. But that's a rhetorical question.
What does he do?
Yeah, what's he do?
He jumps on the back of the bear. This guy's from Wyoming, dude. You can look this up. Just Google something, attacks bear to save friend or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And pulls on this bear's ear, and this bear then steps up off of his friend or whatever, right, who he was mauling, and then stands up, and the guy's like, the bear stood up, and I was like, oh, shit. And then all I could really remember is his breath, how putrid his breath was as he's growling at me right in my face, and then how terrified I became, and then he starts to maul me. And he's like, my adrenaline was so high, though, that like I could feel when his teeth would hit my skull. Like chomp on my head and hit my skull. I could feel when his teeth would hit my arm, and I could feel my bones crushed, but I had so much adrenaline that it's like I didn't feel the pain, but I knew what was going on. Well, then the bear starts to leave him, but he's like, honestly, at this point, I wasn't feeling any pain, so I was still just worried about my friend. And so I stood up and I yelled for my friend to see where he was. Well, at this point, the bear had started to walk away, but then hears me yelling, starts coming back to me, mauls my ass again.
Whoa.
Yeah. And this time he's like, I've decided I'm not going to like fight back because I'm realizing that it's not getting me anywhere. And so I just kind of play dead. And then eventually the bear leaves. And once I knew that the bear was gone, I go to my friend, and they're both, I mean, I just saw pictures. I'm just telling you, they're both messed up.
Mauled by a bear.
Yep.
You can imagine.
But he just saved his friend's life. Now they have to hike 5 miles.
Shit.
5 miles, dude, before. Now, you might be wondering, why in the hell are you telling the story? How does this apply to everything? It applies to fucking everything, dude, because it runs into the storm. So now you think about what this guy just did. Saved his friend's life. His friend is eternally grateful.
Yeah.
But, dude, he's alive, man. He's alive. Now, imagine if he wouldn't have went back. He would still be alive, right?
Yeah. His friend probably not.
No, his friend definitely would not be alive. But also, where would his quality of life be? You don't think that would haunt him the rest of his life? It would haunt him the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
But now, the first thing that I thought of when I looked at this, I was like, man, that guy's an absolute hero. And his friend is, in this article saying, I don't even know how I'll ever repay him. But imagine what that person can now do with that story. Imagine the lives that he can impact. Imagine the tons of lives by running into the storm. There's going to be challenges in our lives. There's going to be challenges on multifamily properties. What do you do when you hit those challenges, right? Do you shirk and run away? Or do you stare that bear in the motherfucking face and say, let's go, right? Well, we're going to talk about challenges on multifamily properties. And you're going to have them. If you're investing, you're going to have them. If you're doing anything noteworthy, you're going to have challenges. Are you going to stare that thing in the face? Or are you going to shirk like a little bitch? I don't know. Only you can determine that.
I love it, dude. So powerful. That's such an awesome story. But at the end of the day, dude, like you just said, dude, there's one piece at the end you just said there. If you're going to do anything noteworthy, there's going to be challenges.
Yep.
If there's not challenges, chances are you're not doing anything noteworthy.
Totally.
Chances are you're just living life easy.
Great indicator, man.
So there should be challenges, and you should be searching for those challenges.
Yeah.
Another thing that you're always talking about is when there is challenges, there's opportunities for providing value.
Yeah, betterment,
dude.
Yeah.
So yes, you should be looking for challenges, and challenges are a good thing. So, dude, let's dive in here. The top 4 most unique challenges that you've seen in multifamily in your multifamily career.
Yeah.
What and how you overcame them, obviously.
And this could, man, it's these. There's so many challenges that come along the way, right? These are like the first ones that I'm thinking of along my journey, right?
Yeah.
And the first one that I remember facing, mindset is a big one. That's like an all-encompassing one, right? Belief, mindset. Can I do this?
Yeah.
That's a challenge that, especially in the beginning. Well, dude, think about it. If you've never done anything. I'm not counting this as one, but I'm just saying if there's something that you've never done before you do it, it always seems impossible.
Right.
So it always seems impossible until it's done. That's a Nelson Mandela quote. And so mindset's a big one, okay? But along that way, you have to continue to keep your why big enough as you're going and make these little steps. And I remember mindset was a big one, okay, but I'll shelve that one. And the first thing for me was market selection. Like one of the biggest challenges I faced in the beginning was I bought in the wrong market. Why did I buy in the wrong market? Well, I bought in the wrong market because I bought in a market that was cheap. I knew the metrics that I should look at, but I was terrified to raise money. And so I didn't, so what I did is I went into a market where I could buy a property without having to raise too much money.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's not the best way to buy. You never buy off something that makes you feel most comfortable. You should never make investments on what makes you feel most comfortable. You should make investments based on what makes the most investment sense.
Yeah.
So now, was this a challenge? It's definitely a challenge. First off, investing in the wrong market, but I'll tell you what a challenge that everyone has, even if they invest in the right market, is actually choosing a market to invest in.
Yep.
Think about all the different metros out there.
So many. It's
There's
crazy.
so many.
Yeah.
It's like, but I'm going to tell you, you can buy in any of them, but there are things that you're looking for in how you buy, okay? But I buy in Birmingham, Alabama. And once again, not because Birmingham was a pre-emerging market, but because it was cheap.
Yeah.
And I also bought in the wrong neighborhood because there are areas in Birmingham that I could have bought that actually could have been very, very good. But I bought in a very tough neighborhood, and I bought a size of property, 20 units, that was very tough to get property management companies to, especially good ones, to manage that, and in that neighborhood. So I bought in the wrong market, the wrong property size, in the wrong neighborhood.
It's a mess.
That's my first one, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that there was challenges there? Definitely. But once again, I had made this commitment, man, that I was going to learn. So I knew what multifamily could provide.
Yeah. And
so everything was a learning lesson. Right? There's no mistakes, only learning lessons.
Yeah.
So just think about that. There's no mistakes, only learning lessons. Only opportunities for growth.
Right.
So now I'm here, I'm like, man, well, listen, if I can get this property to perform in a market, in a neighborhood like this, with property management companies I'm dealing with, dude, I was baptism by fire, dude.
Yeah.
I was forced to learn so much that I never wanted to experience again, but also things that we could control, like the controllables, right? That we can truly make. I want you to listen to that word, make a property perform in any market, under any circumstances, if you're dedicated to making that happen, right?
Finding those solutions.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so dude, that was your first thing, market selection.
Yes.
and how much you learned from that. I loved how you said that, dude. It's like there's no bad decision, no failures, just learning. Is that what you said? How did you say?
There's no mistakes, only learning.
Oh, no mistakes, only learning.
Yeah.
And dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, market selection.
Okay, but can I drill one more thing with that first?
Yeah.
Which is because I just thought about this. Like, if I would have given into that, right? If I would have shirked under the responsibilities or just rolled, okay, well, my confidence would have been very low.
Sure.
First off.
Yeah.
But I forced right a property to perform in a market like that. So now think about this. I was nervous to raise money, right?
Yeah.
Now, going in and talking to investors and being like, no, you should absolutely invest with me. You want to know why? Because these are the lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
That same thing applies to life, though, man. So many times we have scars, we have learning lessons, we have things, struggles we've went through, and what do? We don't talk about them.
No.
Because we think that makes us unqualified, when really that makes you uniquely qualified because you've actually been in the freaking war zone
been there.
and learned.
Yeah.
Dude, if I'm talking to somebody, they don't have any learning lessons, any scars from the industry, well, dude, I don't want to be the person that they realize those scars with. I want to know you already have some of those before I invest, right?
Yeah, no, so valuable, dude. That's so awesome. The things that you can learn from these challenges too is like that's what you have to remember as well.
Yeah,
there's so much to be learned. Dude, the question that I had while you were talking is you forced it to work. You ended up making money on that property.
Yep.
What did that do for your psychology moving forward with all the other properties that?
Massive. Because I knew that I could. So first off, it was profitable. So let's talk about that, right? On a smaller property.
Sure.
And immediately I was like, man, all this stuff that I've learned, what can I do now on bigger properties?
Yeah.
So once again, I call it the law of the first deal, right?
Yeah,
That first deal is always the hardest.
Yep.
It's hardest to find, hardest to close, hardest to do, it's the hardest because it's your first one.
It's all new.
Right?
Yep.
But the learning lessons that come from that, if you can just take for a second. So I want all you new investors who are out there searching for your first deal. Maybe you just closed your first deal. Just understand that there's going to be struggles throughout. And if you can just have this mindset of, man, I'm learning this thing right now, man. I'm growing in this business. I'm like figuring stuff out and really like find the joy in that. It'll change you as a person.
It will.
No matter what industry, no matter what business you're in, you're just a brand new parent. You're like, man, I'm learning this. I'm figuring this out, right? If you can really, really, really understand and like have this reflection, I actually believe one of the greatest gifts we have in life is reflection.
Yeah.
But how many people actually take that privilege that they've been granted to reflect on the past? They don't, man. And if they do reflect on the past, they reflect on the shit that went bad and just kind of wallow in it, or the shit that went good and forget the bad. But really, how should we reflect?
All of it.
All of it, and what can I learn to make the future better?
Yeah.
Right?
What happened here that I could implement to make it easier next time or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's the purpose of reflection.
Yeah.
It's not to beat you down, it's to build you up, right?
Yes, dude. And that when you're having that reflection, dude, you've always got to have grace for yourself too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's that remembering the good and the bad, dude.
One of the favorite things that I love from Trey's episode with the draft last week was
awesome.
When he said grace.
Yeah.
He's like, what's the, advice? I think it was, what advice would you give or something? And he's like, grace. You got to give yourself grace. And I was totally unexpected, but so valid.
Yeah. Shout out Trey Jacobs. If you didn't listen to that episode, definitely go back and listen. Scroll
back and listen, man. Awesome episode.
So good. Okay, awesome, dude. Thank you for diving into that. Again, the huge takeaway there, dude. Those challenges are to shape you and mold you and create other opportunities down the road too. Okay, dude, what's the next thing?
Competition. So your competition on the single family space, there's competition in anything we do, right?
Yeah.
But like competition in the single family space, you're competing against mom and pop people for the most part, right? I'm flipping properties. I have a couple rentals I'm competing against. It's just mom and pop type stuff. Well, all of a sudden I go to this multifamily space and you're competing against, dude, bigger groups, right? Big groups.
Yeah.
And in the beginning you're competing against certainly big groups, but then you get bigger properties. And now you're competing against institutional groups like Blackstone and that kind of stuff, right? It is very easy. People who will come in. So here's the challenge, right? These individuals, these groups. So like, let's look at a Blackstone. A Blackstone, their biggest problem is that they have so much money that they have capital placement needs. They have to put that capital to work.
Yeah.
So what do? They'll go in and they'll overpay for deals. It is tough, dude, to compete with somebody that will overpay for a deal. Because what does the broker want? and the seller.
Yeah. I mean, they want the highest sale price possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's tough to compete. Doesn't mean it's impossible to compete.
No.
I mean, it's tough to compete. You know what else they'll do? They'll come in with large earnest money deposits. So big earnest money deposits, 6 figures plus, right? That is non-refundable because they don't, honestly, if they lose it, it's not even a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, in the beginning, well, even right now, dude, if I'm losing, 6 figures of earnest money, I'm just telling you, it's a blip. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like, man. So that's who you're competing against. So what do most people do in that situation, though?
Roll over.
Yeah, we see it, right?
Yeah.
So what should we do
run
in
the
that
other way?
situation?
Run into the storm, dude.
Yeah. How do you run into that storm?
Good question, dude. Controlling the controllables, dude.
Yeah.
Controlling what you can control. You just said that. That's how you run into the storm.
But that's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Because most of the time, what people will do is they will focus on all the things that all the advantages that these other people have.
Yeah.
But that's what they'll focus on.
Sure.
What should people do? They should focus on what advantages do they have.
Uh-huh.
I remember dating Brittany, right? Trying to date Brittany, and she was starting to date this college football player.
Oh, boy.
Same time that I was dating her. And
some stiff competition for you.
Bro, he's a big dude. I know exactly who he is. And I was like, oh, my gosh, man. But my why was big enough because Brittany, I just knew, dude. Yeah. I knew date one. I'm just telling you. Yeah. I knew date one.
Love
Brittany
it.
was. I did.
Yeah,
dude, we
awesome.
went Ziggy Marley, Snoop Dogg concert, and I was like, I knew date one that she was it. She did not. She was the toughest sell of my freaking life.
Yeah.
But you know how I was able to sell her was selling myself first. Selling myself first, but I didn't have to sell myself. I knew she was it for a number, and I wasn't looking for that, but I just knew. But selling myself on who I was and why I would be this better fit, right? Because nobody will ever believe in you until you believe in yourself. And so I knew that I had to know what my strengths were, what I could bring to the table before anybody else would ever believe that. Does that make sense?
Totally, dude. Totally. And it's such a huge takeaway. You have to. Yeah. You have to believe in yourself.
Have to.
How are you going to expect anybody to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself?
Yep.
And if you're not but I don't know what the word is, but if you're not exuding that confidence and people can't feel that confidence from you, they're never gonna believe in you. So
Totally.
you have to have that confidence and that belief in yourself. I love it.
And so I'll help you understand what that looks like. It looks like going all in. What will most people do in this situation? They're nervous that they may get hurt.
Yeah.
Right? So they're nervous that they may get hurt. And so instead of like going all in with like, what was my value to Brittany? Okay, and then I'll paint it back. My value to Brittany was I just knew that nobody could love her like I did.
Yeah.
I just did. I knew, dude. Like I just looked at her and I was like, man, she is just funny and hilarious. And I just see the freaking good in her. And I was like, there's zero chance that somebody else out there loves her like I do. But what if she doesn't love me back?
That's the scary part.
Scariest shit, right?
Yeah.
So what will happen is, well, maybe I'll be a little bit more reserved. Because if I'm a little bit more reserved and then she doesn't, well, then whatever, I won't look silly or I won't be as hurt. Well, then what ends up happening?
She'd lose interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
she'd sense that.
You weren't fully in.
You weren't, yeah.
I was all in. And she knew I was all in. But then do you know what I had to do? Even though I was all in, I needed her to be all in.
Yeah.
So I'm about to go on a trip to Australia for 3 weeks. And I took her to sushi before I left. And I was like, listen, I hadn't said I love you yet, but I was like I like you. I'd always say, like, I like you a lot. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, so much so that we're teetering on this. Like, maybe we're friends sometimes, and then sometimes we're dating.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. I can't ride that. So I need to know that we're all in together or we're not, because I had invited her to go on a trip with me. And she wasn't sure she wanted to go because she didn't know if she was all in, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, but she knew what that trip would, what would happen, like how that would, what happens there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on this trip and I need you, when I come home, I need you to let me know, are you all in or are you all out? Because if you're all in, man, let's go.
Yeah.
But if you're all out, I can't maintain this friends, and I love you, which I didn't say I love you. Sorry, I like you a lot, which is why I can't do it anymore. It's too mentally taxing.
Yeah.
I was terrified
to
do
have that
shit.
conversation, dude. I can only
Terrified.
imagine, dude.
Well, the same thing's going to happen when you're out there competing for any deal. There's going to have to be this time where you can draw a line in the sand, when you have to make somebody choose. You have to.
Yeah.
You cannot continue to go all in if somebody's not going to. So what do you need to do? You need to focus on what you have. You need to go all in, and then you need to have some self-respect to actually freaking draw the line in the sand. Long story short, I came home from Australia.
Mate. Australia, mate.
And mate. And obviously, I was a nervous wreck that whole time.
Yeah.
But obviously it worked out.
Did you come home and she said immediately she wanted to be with you?
Immediately.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
She knew.
Yeah.
And she felt it, right?
Yeah.
She felt that there was going to be this.
Yeah.
And
Chances are she was maybe waiting to commit to see if you were all in.
No, she knew I was all in.
You know what I mean?
She was, yeah.
You know, but that probably helped her make her decision, knowing, like, having that confidence that you had that confidence in her in that relationship. I'm sure helped a ton.
Which applies to everything, man.
Applies
Your
to
brokers,
everything
your
we're talking
investors.
about.
Are
Yep.
you all in or are you not?
Yeah.
Right? Anyway.
Yeah. A lot of the times, I think a lot of people talking again, continuing to talk about competition, they think you have to have this huge track record to win anything.
Yeah.
It's not that.
No.
It's so much more the relationship
Yep.
and the confidence that you portray.
Yeah.
That you can do, or you could do a takedown, whatever deal it is that you're talking about here.
And think about that. How do you do that? It is, you've made a decision to do that.
Yep.
I knew that I was going to do what I said I was going to do far before I had ever done it, because I made a decision that I was going to do it.
Yeah, and you knew what you were going to do.
Yes.
You had that clarity. It was so clear to you of what you needed to do to make that happen.
Sold myself on it every day.
Yeah. So another takeaway out of there. Find out what you can do and know that and have that confidence in there and use that as you come in to build your confidence. Know yourself, know what you can do.
And
know
not
the
just
value you can provide.
yourself. That's so, like, we're adding this in however we want to, but it is not just know who yourself is right now, but really have a relationship with your future self. Right?
I love that.
People don't know what that future self looks like or what the future looks like because they haven't spent time getting to know their future self.
Right.
But if you can identify what your future self looks like, you can start acting like that future self now. And that's really, like, we're talking 5 at the max, 10 years out. Like, it's really, 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 really hard to wrap your head around anything over that.
Yeah.
But it's like, what does that look like? What decisions does that person make? How does that person live their life? What do they do in these situations? And then you start living in accordance to that right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So get to know what that future self looks like and act like that now.
Dude, that's such a huge takeaway.
Yeah.
And I've never heard it said like that either. I think a lot of the times the rhetoric is find somebody you want to be like.
Yeah.
Find somebody you want to be like and make decisions according to how that person would make decisions.
Yeah.
This way that you're just saying right now is so much more powerful.
Yeah.
Decide who you want to be.
Yeah.
Don't try to be somebody else and make decisions.
That can give you some ideas.
And they've probably made some good decisions. So chances are those are some good decisions you should make too.
Yep.
But like really understanding who you want to be.
Yeah.
In every aspect, who you want to be. And making decisions based on that individual that you're trying to become is going to be so much more powerful.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm glad we added that in there. Awesome, dude. So that was number 2. So number 3.
Just growth, period. We're talking about growth, but like when you're growing and you're built, so you develop these systems. Well, in the beginning, you don't even really have systems. You're developing these systems, right? And as you're developing these systems on, usually it's, maybe you and a partner, you're partnering with some other people, and those systems work for what you're doing. But then you start to not only buy properties, but you're operating multiple properties and buying multiple and your systems start to change. So that growth is beautiful, but that growth is challenging. Growth at any stage is challenging, right? So your operational systems, like lines of communication, who are you going to delegate what to, and when do you bring those things in, and how do you know? So growth, but here's what's going to happen as you're growing. You're going to see stresses. You've seen this. We're seeing this right now.
Yeah.
Because why? Because we're always growing, right? So we're always evaluating, okay, there's these stressors here. But are you like being blind to those stressors in your systems? Or are you really committed to improving those, right? Communication lines, maintaining culture within your organization, within your properties, tracking the numbers, right? Like, think about it. In the beginning, you have one property that you're tracking numbers on.
Very easy to track at that point.
And then you got 2. Then
Still
you got
pretty
3.
easy. Still pretty easy.
And then you got 4. And it's like,
jeez.
right? And then it's right.
Yep. Now
You've seen it.
We have 350 million of
Yes.
assets. Yeah.
So
and
what
all
does
of a
that
sudden,
look like?
Yeah.
Well, when you used to track everything, listen to me. When you used to track everything granular, you can no longer, if you're the head of this, track everything granular. You can't. You need to know what buckets do you need to know. What are the major buckets that you need to be in charge of? And then who's in charge, or sorry, that you need to oversee, and then who's in charge of those buckets.
Right.
And then what are the metrics there? That's what you need to track. Now, if one of those metrics are off, you're going to drill down on that bucket and see what it is. But you cannot track everything granular over every property.
Yeah.
You need to be able to put people in place and then you have your systems in place to be able to drill down when you need to, right?
Yeah.
You have to.
So, Ty, I guess a question that comes along with growth and making these changes is how often should you be auditing your systems and looking at those things?
I think all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it would be a lot better. I would love to tell you that I've caught these before they became a problem, but you know that would be a false statement, right?
Not all of them. I mean, some of them we've caught. Some of them.
But,
some of them
right?
we've definitely missed.
Definitely. But
Yeah.
so what happens, Kate? So you get a problem that happens. And let's say it's within, your investor relations processes or whatever, dude, just any of them, okay?
Yeah.
And I say investor relations because one of your investors will point that out.
Yes, quickly.
So what do you do at that point? Do you discredit it? Do you argue with it? Do you make justifications about it? Or do you own it? And be grateful that they're willing to have that conversation with you.
Yep.
Because I'm going to tell you that if you take a different approach, you won't be in business long.
Nope.
But when somebody brings something to your table, then you're like, oh my God, thank you. Because if you're really looking to grow, you need feedback.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
I can tell a lot about something when I provide feedback and how they react to it. If I'm providing feedback, or anybody, it doesn't need to be me, it's anybody, I see anybody try to provide them feedback, how they approach it will tell me everything I need to know about that person. Are they taking that feedback with gratitude and really listening to it? Or are they arguing against it? Are they discrediting it? Are they making excuses? Right?
Yeah.
I understand that when somebody's bringing you a feedback, we love compliments, right?
We do.
Yeah, but we also, if compliments, recognize the growth that you've achieved. Feedback helps you achieve more growth.
Yeah.
So if you are discrediting feedback or you don't like feedback as much as you like compliments, then you're stuck in a fixed growth mindset, a fixed mindset,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
You need to look at that feedback and literally with gratitude.
Yeah.
Now, some feedback is shitty feedback. It just is.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But most feedback is there for a reason. There's purpose, there's reasoning behind every ounce of feedback. So when you can understand that, you will grow. And if you don't, you will die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You have to take that feedback but you have, dude, I love it. There's not even anything to add there, dude.
Yeah.
Feedback's so important.
Search it out.
Search it out. Look for it.
And if you don't,
Yeah.
people will stop providing it to
Yep,
you.
yep.
The minute that people feel like, fuck it, I ain't going to give any more feedback because they don't listen, I'm just telling you, you're on an island by yourself and you will, you'll learn a lot.
Yeah. You'll learn a lot on that island for sure. For sure. Awesome. Anything else you want to add there to growth?
No, I talked about culture, but I'll tie this in because the number 4 I would say is bad partnerships. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I mentioned how as you grow, as you have this growth, you need to maintain your culture, right?
Yeah.
Well, bad partnerships can really impact the culture that you're trying to create. And I'll give you this example. You have different types of partners, right? One of those partners will be a property management company. And we've had relationships with property management companies that are phenomenal and that they really understand the culture you're trying to create. And they're trying to create that same culture, which is one of care and love and understanding. And truly they want to provide a place of, I look at housing as a place of refuge.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when I go home, it's a place of refuge for me. It's peaceful.
Right.
I want all my tenants to feel like that. I want them to know that they have this sense of belonging, right?
Yeah.
But if the people who are running those properties don't provide that sense of belonging, it's not going to be a place of refuge, right? Which means they're not going to stay long, right?
Right.
So I'll give you this example. I won't name the property or the partners or the property management company. But I'll tell you that I remember Ryan walking through there. And I had just walked through there recently and given some heads up to Ryan, right? And Ryan then goes, and here's this property management company talking negatively about a tenant. And instead of just bearing it, Ryan addressed it immediately. And it was like, it's not so-and-so. And yes, and what do you like? So he went and immediately talked to do you remember all this?
No, I don't remember this one.
Immediately went and talked to the tenant. And
I love that.
Figured out what the problems were, put in some solutions, which is really just listening to them.
Yeah.
And completely changed that tenant. And literally it was a small thing. And I'm trying to be vague because I don't want to.
Yeah.
But just know that he listened, okay? Because that's who Ryan is.
Yep.
And then he goes back into the meet with the property management company. And he's like, listen, we don't talk like that about tenants. And they said, we don't do that to their face. And Ryan's like, whoa. It doesn't matter if you're doing it to their face or behind their back. If you are talking negatively about them behind their back, when they walk in, they're going to feel it.
They're going to sense that.
They are going to feel that. We don't do that. We do not allow that.
Yeah.
We call them by name. We figure out reasons we want to make.
We listen to them.
We listen. We care, right? But that takes a lot of energy, man, to maintain a culture like that. And I would love to tell you that that's going to be this constant process of growth with that. No, it's a constant process of struggle, a constant process of correcting, a constant process of letting people know what your standards are and making sure that people are living within those standards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll slowly I'm sure it becomes easier as you start to shape those people around you and understanding that that's the standard, but it's something that has to be talked about and addressed often.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not something that can just be this overarching feeling or idea. Yeah. It has to be something that's addressed and talked about and implemented.
It's simplified, often. Right?
Mm-hmm.
My question to all of y'all would be, do you know what your standards are?
Yeah.
Ed Milet talks about that we don't live to the level of our goals, but we follow the level of our standards.
Love
something
that.
along those lines. Which means your standards are really key. What are your standards, right? Like, what are your standards? What are your standards with your properties? What are your standards with your finances? What are your standards with your health? What are your standards with your relationship with your family? What are your standards, man? Do you know what they are? Because if you don't know what they are, then you're going to fall through with just whatever is most convenient. And if the people you're working with don't know what they are, well, then that's your fault, not theirs.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else you want to add there on the bad partnership
operating
side?
Partners too. You'll have operating partners that you partner with for a specific reason, and then you realize that you have different we have different standards a lot of times, right? Yeah, for real.
It's one of the things that you talk about often, dude. It's like one of my favorite things that we teach at the Multifamily Mindset when trying to find a partner or partnering up with somebody. One of the very first things before you even get into finances and goals is the standards. Yeah. Values. Are your values aligned?
Totally.
Your values have to be aligned, or it's going to cause issues down the road.
It's definitely going to cause issues.
Yeah.
Like, people ask me how I chose Ryan as a partner. I don't know that I chose Ryan as a partner. I believe that, I did.
He chose you, though, too. You know what I mean?
But it was both, because I looked at, like, when you think of Ryan Woldley, what do you think of?
Server.
He serves, man.
Yep.
He cares about people.
Yep.
Okay. The number one thing that you don't think of with Ryan is that he wants to make as much money as possible.
No.
He wants to make money.
Sure.
And so do I.
Yeah.
And so do all of you. And the minute that you say you don't want to make money, you're lying to yourself. Yeah, you fucking do.
Yeah, you do.
But do you want to know how you get there? In my opinion, and Ryan's opinion, and your opinion, you serve.
Yep.
You truly serve. And so I looked at Ryan, and I looked at where his values were, and how did I see him? Ed Milet also says most things are caught, not taught, right?
Right.
So Ryan could tell me what his standards are, tell me what he cares about, tell me, but then I see it. I go to a gas station, and all of a sudden I see him buy. Everyone in line just buy their stuff randomly just because he feels like he wants to do that. I see him pour value in. It's not just about buying things for people. I see him pour value into people and spending time, sacrificing his time to help other people all the time, right?
Last night
on the freaking underwriting coaching call.
He stayed on an hour longer.
Just pours in.
Just taught. I learned so much on that call. It was awesome. Dude, but that's just who Ryan is.
It's who Ryan is to his core, and I knew that. That's why I was like, dude, I need to partner with this person because I knew that we would align on these things. And I'm just going to tell you, dude, business is challenging.
Yeah.
Growth is challenging. Business is also so damn rewarding, and just powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Something I just want to point out here for everybody that's listening. Have you and Ryan ever disagreed on a business decision?
Definitely.
How much easier is it to come to a consensus and a conclusion when you both have the same values, though?
But can I tell you why that is? I love that you just pointed this out because I wouldn't have even went down this route. But I want you to think of what I know going into a call when Ryan and I disagree and what I know he knows going into a call when we disagree. I know Ryan has the best of intentions.
Yeah.
And Ryan knows I have the best of intentions. So we go in with this level of respect and belief in each other. So even though we may disagree about something, we believe in each other.
Right.
Our belief about that specific thing may not be the same, but our belief about each other, it's on the highest regard. So what do? You listen to that person more. You show more grace to that person. You actually respect that person's opinion, and then it allows you to actually come to an agreement, an understanding of what the direction is.
Right.
And sometimes that is what you believed in, what your decision was. Sometimes it's not.
And sometimes it's in the middle.
And sometimes it's in the middle. Yeah. But if it's that other person's, you're like, you know what? I trust this person. Yep. So like, and I'm going to tell you at that point when we go a different direction, let's say it doesn't work, because there's no perfect decision.
Right.
So something doesn't work. Now, I know that I have this partnership where it's like, let's say Ryan decides to go with my decision, right? That I have convinced him that this is the decision.
This is the route we need to go.
And it doesn't work. I'll tell you the last thing Ryan would do is come back and be like, I told you, you dipshit. We should have done this. He'd be like, what's the solutions? How do we dive in? How do we fix? How do we pivot?
Yeah.
We need people like that in our corner.
Yeah.
You're like that.
Yeah.
Man. Like, it's like, I know that whatever challenge we face, I know that you are there to help me face it.
Yeah. It's not just me, dude. We have an incredible team.
A whole team.
But, dude, talking about these partnerships, dude, those are the people that you need.
Yeah.
Or those people that are willing to understand, be open-minded to new things. You also need to trust them and be open-minded to their ideas as well. And that's really how you grow. It's how you grow in those partnerships.
It's easy when everything's easy when things are going great.
Sure.
But like, what do you do when you do disagree with something? Because I'll tell you right now, if you let small little things, if you just go unaddressed, it'll turn into something gigantic.
Yeah.
But if you just have enough guts to freaking address the small stuff, then it won't turn into big stuff.
No.
Small stuff is easy to fix up.
Yeah.
It's the big stuff that will blow up your relationships with your kids, your spouse, your business partners, everything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, thank you for sharing all that, man. So much to learn in what you just shared in your partnership with Ryan, and then some bad partnerships that you've had in the past, dude. There's so much to learn there. Out of all of these problems and all of these unique challenges that you've gone through in your journey, dude, how did having a strong, and we've kind of been touching on this, but how did having a strong mindset help you persevere through all of these challenges?
All of them, all of it. Like, because what a strong mindset, if I'm going to simplify it, the base level, what a strong mindset does for me is helps me realize that nothing is finite. So whatever problem I'm going through, it's temporary. But growth, well, that's unlimited. So if I can make sure that this temporary situation, that I don't make permanent decisions based on a temporary setback, but I can truly think beyond this bigger picture and be like, okay, this sucks. This is challenging, but I know that there's a future self down here that overcome it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's tie that back in.
Yeah.
This future self got here because they overcame this.
Right.
So how would this future self overcome this situation?
Yeah.
Right? That person who has a stronger mindset, stronger will, stronger everything than I have right now, what would they, but also understanding.
Just to add to that, dude.
Yeah.
That stronger person, that other person that you're trying to become, can't become that person without these challenges.
It's powerful.
You have to have these challenges and overcome these challenges.
And then what happens to your mindset when you realize that?
Your confidence grows.
And you're grateful.
And you're grateful for those challenges.
Yep.
You want those challenges to come, dude.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
You're grateful. That dude who got attacked by a bear, who was saving his buddy,
yeah.
I promise you in that moment, he's like this, I guarantee
Wrong
you he's
move.
not like.
Wrong decision.
Right?
Dude, I'm sure.
He's like, I'm not grateful for this. But I'll tell you that will impact him his entire life.
Yeah.
Because of that challenge, right?
Yeah.
His whole life.
Yeah.
So all these challenges that you're facing right now, dude, how do you view them? Do you view them as just complete nuance, or can you just sit down and identify how that challenge can really be a blessing? That's a mindset, right? Understand that growth, what's a growth mindset? Knowing that there's always solutions and ways to grow. That's it.
Yeah.
A fixed mindset is, well, I'm fucked.
Here's the problem.
And
it's
it's
a
just a problem, and I can't get there because of this problem.
Yep.
I'm stuck here because of this problem.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the learning. Fall in love with the growth. Fall in love with the solutions, man. And if you are relentless in finding solutions, there's no problem that will stick in your.
No.
There's really no permanent problem unless you make it a permanent problem.
Right. Right. Dude, it's so valuable. One more question. Why did you choose to push through these challenges?
I would probably tie it all the way back in the beginning, which is the why. My why was, I don't mention Eric's why, and if the why is big enough, the how-tos will come. My why is very big. My why will always be big.
Yeah.
Because I define my why. But
right.
At that moment, my why was, I was just about to become a dad. And I knew the type of dad I wanted to be. I knew how I wanted to provide for my family. And I knew that I was not in that position. But I knew that this could get me there. And so I had to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I didn't allow for another option. I had to figure it out. I also had made commitments to my investors. Like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I've made commitments to team members. This is what I'm going to do. And I honor those commitments.
Yeah.
And if you think about identity, right? Just make that part of your identity. I honor the commitments that I make. If you really make that part of your identity, well, then you're going to be very strategic about the commitments that you do make. Mm-hmm. And those commitments better be in line with your why.
Yep.
And which means you're going to say no to other things. And that's a beautiful thing too, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So is the why.
Yeah. Dude, it's so powerful. Yeah. We talk about the why all the time, dude. And I loved how you said, I had no other option. Your why was so powerful. There was no other option but to get through these challenges.
Yes.
So until you're to that point, you got to work on your why.
Yes.
You have to figure out what your why is going to be to get you to the point where you don't have any other option but to overcome challenges and succeed.
That's it.
Awesome, dude. Is there anything else you wanted to add into this episode, brother? I'm out of questions for you.
No, dude. I would just say that no matter what you're going through, there's going to be challenges. Just expect it. Yeah. Expect it. And in those challenging moments, man, it's a challenge, right? So we all just love things to be peachy keen and progress and movement and just fucking killing it all the time. But I'm just going to tell you that that's not a reality, dude. That this is just not a reality. Growth is challenging at any level, okay? Any level is challenging. But overcoming challenges is powerful at any level.
Yep.
So once again, if you don't have any challenges in your life, well, you're probably not pushing yourself to your max. You're just probably not. You're not. So it's a good indicator of where you're at. Are you doing enough? Are you thinking bigger enough? Are you or not? Are you or not? Like, man, understand that there's so many elements that can serve you or hurt you. Look for ways that those elements can serve you, right? Help you.
Yeah. Dude, thank you, bro. Yeah. So many good takeaways from this episode. And just one thing that I want to add on to this, dude, is challenges have a negative connotation behind them. But if you can switch that to know that challenges are for your benefit, life's happening to you.
Listen,
life happens for you, not to you, right? That's one of the things Dallas is always saying. These challenges that are coming at you are for you.
Yeah.
To mold you, to create a better you. So as soon that was a huge thing for me, dude, is understanding that challenges are a good thing.
Yeah.
That challenges are pushing you to become the person that you want to be or just become better. Then you want these challenges to come, and you just look at them at a whole different light.
You know what I loved about one of you guys' last deep dive? I think it was the last one. I think it was just last Saturday. You guys were talking about changes and stuff like that. I think it was last one.
Okay.
But Dallas had said something along the lines of change is a synonym for growth.
Yeah. It was 2 ago, but yeah.
And I just remember listening to that and being like, wow, change is a synonym for growth. If you told somebody that, do you want to grow? They're going to be like, yes. And it's like, but do you want to change? It's like, no. I don't know. Because I want to drill this into your future self, okay? Your future self is going to be a changed person. You won't have the same goals. You won't have the same values. You won't have the same, I don't know, values maybe, but like you won't be the same person.
Yeah.
Think about who you were 10 years ago. You're a different person. God, I hope you're a different person than you were 10 years ago.
Yep.
So understand that that's going to happen here too. Change is a synonym for growth, right? I love that how he
it was
put
funny.
that.
I remember that, yeah.
I literally paused and I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be changes, man. And when there's changes, that means there's growth being had, which is beautiful.
Love it. Awesome. For all of you that are tuning in to listen for the first time, please don't forget to share, rate, and review the podcast.
Yes.
We definitely want to share it and get it out to as many people as possible. As you can tell if you've listened to this whole episode, how powerful these episodes are. Take these things that Ty teaches, put them into action.
Yeah.
They're no good. They're no good if you're just listening to them, but we want you to listen to them and put them into action.
Like, can I drill something home there? Like, why I want you to share. Yeah, it'll benefit you and it'll benefit the people you share with. But I want to help you understand, once again, let's talk about whys, okay? One of the, when we talked about that 2-day mastermind we did in Dallas.
Yeah.
And they asked me at the end, they're like, what can we do for you? Because they were grateful, right? They said, which once again,
that group, shout out to that group really quick.
Oh my gosh, man.
Shout out to that group that came out and visited us in Dallas and met with us and went and got some properties. I know they got so much value from that, learning from Tyler, Ryan, and Lindsay and myself, but the value that they poured back into us, I don't think that they'll ever realize.
No, they won't.
No.
Well, they will when they see the other end of it, right?
Yeah.
When they're on that other side,
Yeah.
which is valuable.
Yeah.
But I told them, I was like, man, share our stuff. And then I said, but I want you to understand why I want you to share it. Why am I obsessed with building a personal brand? Well, because that's where everything funnels down through with our company. It just is. But I have people who will comment on do you still see the comments on the ads and stuff?
Yeah.
They'll be like, why should I come to your event? I have more followers than you do, type stuff.
Yeah.
And then people will come and tell me this at my event. I have more followers. I almost didn't come because I have more followers than you do. I'm like, is this guy credible? Well, okay. I look at that and it's like, do I think that's ridiculous? I do.
Yeah.
But do you know what I also realize? It's my job to make sure that I can eliminate as many
doubts or barriers.
As many doubts as possible.
Yeah.
You can help me do that, man. I love what I do. I'm grateful that I do what I do. But man, share, because that will help build and help eliminate doubts for other people. And especially if you found value, your job should be to help eliminate doubts for as many people as possible on their journey. So I'm asking you as a favor to go do that. Go share.
Awesome. I totally agree. Yeah. And let's end here with the Hawaiian value. I like the one that we have.
Got it.
Do you want me to put this?
Because I can't pronounce it.
No, ikaika, I believe is how you say it. Ikaika. I could be wrong. But what that value means is to be strong mentally or morally, to be courageous, persevering, and energetic.
Love
Perfect,
that, bro.
Perfect for what we talked about today. To be strong mentally or morally. I love how this doesn't say anything about being strong physically. Right?
Yeah.
Because when you hit these challenges, when you come across these challenges that we've been talking about, and these challenges that you're going to face when you're building a business or building anything, you have to be mentally strong. You have to be mentally strong and be able to hold on to your why and your morals and why you're doing the things you're doing. Because a lot of the times, dude, I know there's problems that come up, and it'd be very easy to turn on your morals or turn on your values to solve that solution.
Yeah.
Or be the solution to whatever that problem is. Let's see if I can say it again. Ikaika is to have that strong mental and moral fortitude to stay strong to your purpose and your why.
I love that so much,
why you're
man.
doing it.
And the key to that first is to define it, right?
Yeah.
But man, go back and listen to Trey's episode and tell me that he doesn't live Ikaika. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And then next week you'll hear from Elisa and Ellie,
Yep.
and tell me that they don't have that. And I'm just telling you, like it is. I mentioned Yannick and Marichelle in the very beginning as well. They haven't.
They have that.
Strong mentally.
Yep.
Strong mentally, man. And do you want to know how you become strong mentally? Well, it's a decision, and it's also helping other people. Like when you have this responsibility I feel like my responsibility is I got to be strong no matter what.
Yeah.
Because if I let my belief start to falter, other people's belief will start to falter. So when my belief starts to falter, what do I need to do? I need to double down, right?
Yeah.
I need to go help. When I see somebody else's belief start to falter, it's not feeding it. It's helping them understand where they're fucking up. It's period.
Yeah.
And then they can correct, right?
Yep.
That's it.
Awesome.
Ikaika.
All
right. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Jay, thanks so much for peppering me with
brother.
questions, bro, and always bringing out just freaking gold.
Appreciate you,
man. And all y'all out there, thank you for sharing, following along with the journey, being part of the freaking multifamily family. We love y'all. Grateful for y'all. Make sure that you live always with aloha. Peace.